Hi everyone, welcome to Unshackling Sudokus and Puzzles. I'm Kishore and today I'm going to solve a Fuzzy Arrows Sudoku created by Sed Holaysan. This Sudoku was created by Sed as practice for the variant which is occurring in the World Sudoku and Puzzle Convention 2021 that is happening online at logicmastersindia.com. I will add the link to the landing page of the event. You guys can check it out if you haven't already done so. And Sed is an excellent Sudoku solver and author from the Philippines. So let's see how this Sudoku proceeds. And before that, I want to show you something. The reason for making a video on this Sudoku is because of this. So you can see here, uh, part 7 is the Sudoku Shrine. This is basically the instruction booklet of the Sudoku competition. So you can see that it's worth 600 points totally, and the round name is Sudoku Shrine, right? And there are many variants in the round, but look at this particular Sudoku, Fuzzy Arrows Sudoku. 140 points. I mean, a massive 140 points. Just imagine the total points in the round is 600. You have 60 minutes, right? 60 minutes to complete the round, out of which 140 points is allotted to a single Sudoku. So if I'm not wrong, 140 is roughly 150 is 25 percentage of 600. So 140 is slightly less than that. So almost 25 percentage of the points is allotted to a single Sudoku. So I'm sure that all the top solvers and the um, absolute Sudoku specialists will attack the Sudoku in this round, because there's no way that they are going to let a high pointer unattempted. So I thought of making a video on this Sudoku so that this is somewhat easy and approachable, and also I hope that this video by itself should be an enjoyable one for the viewers. So the link to solve this is given in the description of the video. Please do give it a try and come back and watch the video. And the rules are classic Sudoku rules apply, right? So each row, each column and 3 by 3 box of the grid will have digits from 1 to 9 without any repetitions. And in addition to that, it is just like an arrow Sudoku, but in this case, you do not know which of these ends or the arrowhead. By arrowhead, I mean the pointing arrow, and which of these contains a circle. So many of you might have seen a normal arrow Sudoku where a circle is given, and starting from the circle, you will have a line and it will go in some random direction. And when you add the sum of the digits along the line starting from the circle, the total will be the value in the circle. But in this case, it is a twist. The solver has to determine which end is the circle and which end is the arrowhead. So as part of solving, you have to identify that. So you can see that this Sudoku has totally 8 arrows in it without the arrowhead or the arrow circle. So let's see if we can identify that. So the one thing that comes to my mind while solving this variant is it should be fairly obvious, because you have the arrow circle only at the ends of the lines. Remember that you can never have a 9 in between the line. For example, um, let me show you. For example, okay, this should be a good place. I can blindly say that a 9 can never be in these two cells, because we know that the arrow circle is either here or here, and regardless of wherever it goes, you can never have 9 here, because then the total would be more than 9. So this is something which is fairly obvious. And also one additional thing is, if the arrow line is, let's say, 3 cells long, this is again just derivable from the rules. You can never have, when the line is more than, let me just check it out again, when the line is 4 cells or more, right, you can never have 8 in the middle. So again, same logic. Let's say you have 8, and doesn't matter where you have the circle, 8 plus 1 plus 2 will be minimum 10 and 11, right? So you can never have an 8 in the middle of the line. The same logic applies for 7 too. When the line length is 4 or more, you can never have 7 in the middle, right? So these are some starting tricks that you can use to tackle the fuzzy arrow Sudokus. So other than that, I'm not sure what to say. So let's see how the Sudoku proceeds. This is a live solve. I hope you guys enjoy watching it. So let me see. Right, there is a 9 here and a 9 here, which means 9 must be in these 4 cells. That's the first thing I'm seeing, and which is utterly useless, not going to help. Okay, look at this one. In box 9, we have a 1 and we have a 4 cell length line, right? So which means that regardless of whichever side the arrow circle goes, the sum comprises of at least 3 digits without the 1, and that should give you a spark. The minimum sum without a 1 from 3 cells is going to be 2 plus 3 plus 4. So the arrow circle must contain a 9 because 2 plus 3 plus 4 is 9. So you have a 9 here, so 9 cannot be here. So which means that we now know, how the arrow works, and it would have to go this way, right? So let me put that. That's a 9, and these would be 2, 3, 4, right? This is a nice and easy start to the Sudoku. Now let's maybe look at this arrow line because it's very interesting to me suddenly because of the givens we have written here. So where does the arrow circle go? Can it be here? If it is here, then minimum sum would be 1 plus 5 plus 2, which is possible. Can it be here? No. We can deduce one thing for certain. So while solving along, always be on the lookout for when you take a certain line, can this be an arrow circle or can this be an arrow circle? That is how the Sudoku works. So we have deduced that this can never be an arrow circle because then these 3 cells should sum up to this circle, but the minimum value from these cells is going to be 1, a 5 and a 6, and which you can never satisfy using a sum because it's more than 9. So which means that the arrow circle would have to be this way, right? And we've just seen that the minimum sum that we could obtain from here is 8, and which is the maximum possible digit you can place here because 9 is already eliminated. So you have 2, 3, 4 here, so the minimum value here you can put is 1 and 5, and then the minimum value here you can put is 2, and that adds up to 8. So these in total becomes 1, 2, 5, 2 is eliminated here, and that is a 2, so which means this would be 8. Now we can fill column 9 with 6 and 7. Really nice variant. So we can now look at this arrow or this one. So which one do we look at? Okay, but before that, a bit of classic to eliminate the 2 from this cell. So I'm not certain which one to look at now, either this one or this one. Maybe we'll look at this one. Can we have an arrow circle here? If we do have here, then the minimum sum from these cells become 1, 4, 5, and the arrows will look somewhat like this. But you can very quickly say that if the circle is this way, then the sum becomes 10, which can never be the case. So which means that we are certain the arrow circle has only one way, and that would have to be this way, right? This is the only way for the arrow circle to happen. And the minimum possible sum you can get from these two cells is 3 and 4, right? Because you have 1 and 2 here. Well, actually you can't have 3 and 4 because that would rule out both the 3, 4 here. So the minimum sum you can get from this is 3 and 5. But remember, there is one more cell which is part of the arrow cell. So the minimum value you can put is 1 here, and if you add them all, you will just about reach the maximum possible digit that you can put in the arrow, and that would have to go there. So that is a 9, and these would have to be 1, 3, 5 in some order. You have 1 here, so that is 1. These become a 3, 5, and that can be resolved. So that's a 5, that's a 3, and this 3 gives me a 4 here, which means these would be a 2, 3, and 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 4, 9. So we need 7, 8 here, and because of the 7, you get the 7 here and the 8 here. A really pleasing Sudoku, guys. Said a really nice construction from you. I'm so far enjoying the start. You can see that all the border columns are kind of getting filled up, and which is understandable because all these clues are given near the edges of the grid. So let's look at maybe this one now. So obviously our logic is going to be, where does the arrow circle go? either this circle, I mean either here or here, and you can instantly eliminate that the arrow cannot be this way, because you have 1 here and you have a 3 here. And if you have the arrow circle this way, the minimum possible sum from these 3 digits is going to be, well, not 245, 246, and you'll easily see that the it has well exceeded the valid digits in a Sudoku. So you can never have the arrow circle this way, which means the arrow circle would have to be this way. That is the only possible way. And now let's see. You would have to, oops, sorry, fill in these digits. Let's see. So the minimum sum you can get here is 2 plus 4, because you have 1 and 3 here, and the minimum value you can get is 1 here because you have 2 3. Okay, you can have the 1 here. So 1 2 4 is 7, right? So the minimum value you can get is 7, and 9 is ruled out, so the maximum is 8. So this could only be 7 or 8. Oh, we have an 8 in row 3. So which means that this can only be 7, because we already established this is minimum 7. So that must be 7. And there is 7 has only one possible way of getting filled up when it is comprising of 3 cells. That's going to be 1 2 and 4. So you have 1 here, which means that is a 1, and you have 2 here. So this becomes 4, that becomes 2, and the 1 here gives me a 5 here and a 1 here. And row 1 can be filled with digits 6 and 8, and column 1 1 3 5 9 2 4 7, again 6 and 8. Superb, guys. A really clean start to the Sudoku. I think this is best Sudoku to ease yourself into this variant, because Fuzzy Arrows is not a variant which I've seen much in the past. Although I've solved it previously, I remember solving Fuzzy Arrows, but it's not a variant which one is used to seeing regularly. So it's for beginners and for solvers who are new to this. It's a really nice Sudoku by Sed to ease yourself into the variant. So let's see now. Okay, you have 6 8 here, which can be resolved. So that's a 6 and that's an 8. And look where the 6 goes in row 5 now, because 6 is confined to one of these two cells in box 4 and one of these two cells in box 6, which means in row 5 6 can only go into these 3 cells, and which can be placed immediately. Now we would have to look at these smaller arrows which are not offering us any clue at all. Let's see. Maybe we can make use of the 9s. 9 is in column 8 and 9, so 9 goes in one of these two cells, and as I already said, one of the smallest tricks, 9 can never be in the middle of a line, so remove the 9 from that. It's just like a thermo, you can say. So 9 is removed from that, and 7 is not in row 3, so 7 goes here. 1 7 8 9 2 3 5, so we need 4 and 6. And now we should not instantly conclude. This is one of the common errors that solvers may tend to make. You get a high digit and you instantly think, oh, it's 7. Okay, this must be the arrow circle, and let me put a 3 and a 1. No, does not work that way. So always be on the lookout whether this can also be the arrow circle, because 7 can become part of the sum, right? Although in this case it's clearly not the part of the sum, but some instances may be such a way that you get a very high digit at the end of a line, and instantly in our brain we may think, okay, this must be the arrow circle, but it is not to be. So you always be on the lookout for such cases. So here we can easily conclude that this cannot be the arrow circle, because if it is, then 7 plus 4 is already 11 and we cannot satisfy the arrow. So this is clearly this way, right? And now we can do some Sudoku. 4 plus 3 or 6 plus 1. 1 is ruled out, so that is a 3, which gives a 4, which gives a 6. So we have got this box completely filled up now. What do we do next? Okay, why is this 7 8 doing not getting resolved? Just put that. I placed an 8 here. There is an 8 here, which means this must be 8. Now, okay, so look at this box. We have 2 4 7 1 and 9, and we also have 6 and 8 in row 3 of box 3, which means that this can be filled up now. This becomes a 6 8 pair, and now these two cells must be 3 5, right? And that can be resolved, so that is a 3 and that is a 5, and these three cells for the row must be 1 2 and a 9. So we have 1 here, so that's not a 1. And let me just quickly write the pencil marks here. These are all just regulation stuff, guys. 1 2 9 6 7 8, so these must be 3 4 and 5. And one more small thing to notice, digits may repeat on a fuzzy arrows, although this is not given in the rules, but as long as the Sudoku rules are not violated, you can have repeating digits. For example, 3 3 and 6 here would be an absolutely valid sum for an arrow, right? That's possible. So next, what do you see? Okay, 3 here removes the 3 from this cell, that's 4 or 5. So 2 3 4 1 and 9. So we need 5 6 7 8. There is a 6 7 here. So 6 7 goes here, and that's a 5 8. Okay, this is a very nice deduction, guys. Look at this arrow. I can instantly say that the arrow is this way. Can you guys see why? Because the minimum value, the maximum value rather, which can go here is only 4. So 4 cannot be the sum of 6 7 and something else, so which means that the circle has to be this way, because you already have 8 9 and 6 7 here. This arrow has to be this way, right? So this must be 1 3 4, and 3 in row 5 and row 6, row 4 and row 5, sorry, gives a 3 here. That becomes 1 4, that becomes 2 5 8. 5 here removes the 5, 8 here removes the 8. Okay, so let me add out. 3 plus 7 can never be satisfied. So this would be 6, that would be 7, and now the arrow can be satisfied, that would be a 9. This 9 is removed because of Sudoku rules. Okay. There is a 5 here, I can remove the 5. And because I have 9 here, I know that the 9 must go in one of these 3 cells. That gives me a 9 in box 2. That becomes 9. And 9 in row 5 removes this 9. Okay, so we are yet to attack this line and this one, right? So let's see if we can do some normal Sudokuing and then finish off this. 3 6 7 8 and 9. So we need 1 2 4 5 in this column. This cannot be 1 and 5. That's 2 and 4. Okay, where does the 5 go in column 3? It goes in one of these 2 cells. Okay, I think it's time to look at this maybe. Let's think if this can be this way. I mean, by that I mean whether the arrow can be this way. So obviously then this becomes 4 or 5. Then this would be 1 or a 2. 1 is ruled out, but 2 is possible. So we may have an arrow with a 5 here and a 2 here. I don't see any uh, problem with that. But can we have it the other way? I mean this way. In which case you'll have a 7 or an 8. Okay, 8 is ruled out, but 7 is possible. So I think one more advanced trick, or rather some trick you can say, is to write candidates on both ends of the line in cases where you do not know where the arrow is. In this case, you can clearly see that regardless of which way the arrow works, we are able to eliminate some candidates. Can you see which one? This can never be a 3. Look what happens if this is a 3. If this is a 3, we are certain that the arrow proceeds this way. And now, second guys, and now we need a 6 here, but 6 cannot be there. So which means that 3 cannot go that way, right? 3 can never be here. So 3 is eliminated. And when you do that, you get a 4 5 pair. So that's a 3. A nice step, right? This may be useful in advanced tougher Sudokus. 3 6 9 1 5 7 8. So we need 2 4 here. That's a 2 4. And we need 1 3 and 5. Let's just quickly write those in. 1 cannot go here, so that's a 3 5. And you also have a 3 here, so that's a 1 5. So now if the arrow is this way, then this would have to be 5 3 2, as we already saw. 4 3 1 is ruled out because of 1 here, so this may be a 2 pencil mark. Oh sorry, this one. And if the arrow is this way, this cannot be 3 plus 5 because that would have an 8 here. So which means that this can never be a 5. Oh, is it? Yo, sorry, I'm sorry. Ignore what I said now. If you have the arrow this way, it would have to be 3 plus 4 because 3 plus 5, 8 is ruled out. So 3 plus 4 is 7. So this would have to be 7. So we have written the exhaustive pencil marks here. This can only be 2 or 7 regardless of where the arrow circle goes. So this was the trick I was saying. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 5, 9. We need 4, 6, 7, 8. You have a 6 here. So 6 goes in here and 7 goes in here. Okay. Okay, slightly tricky at this point, or maybe I'm missing something simpler at this stage, not certain. Okay, maybe a bit of Sudokuing. Look at row 5. We have 3, 6, 8, 9, and this cell cannot be 1 or 5, so this would have to be 2, 4, 7, and this would be 2, 4, 7 for the same reason because you have 1, 5 here and 3, 6, 8, 9 here, so that's a 2, 4, 7. And now 9 is exactly one cell left in column 5, column 2. So 9 goes here. That gives me a 9 here. So this becomes a 2, 4, 7. Okay, now I think it's time to tackle this line, guys. As much as it looks really kind of uncertain, but let's see if something comes out of it. Can this be a 7? If this is a 7, we must have the 8 or the 9 here. This cannot be the arrow end, so this would become the 8 and this would be a 1 then, which is not possible. So a little bit of visualization. And how did it start? We started by eliminating one of the pencil mark here. This cannot be a 7 because this becomes circle and that would be forced to be a 1, which is not possible. So 7 is eliminated here, so that becomes a 7 and this becomes 2 now. And now we know how the arrow works. This would have to be this way and that becomes a 5, that becomes a 4, and 2 and 7 are eliminated, so this is a 4, and which means this is 4, this is 1, 2 gives an 8 here, that becomes a 2, 5, that 8 resolves this 8, 6, which resolves this 6, 7, 4, 7, 8, 2, 3, 5, 6 and 9, so this is a 1, 1, 2, 4, 9, 3, 6, 8, so we need 5 and a 7, and this box can be filled 2, 3, 5, 1, 7, 9, so we need 4, 6, 8, that's a 4, 8, that's a 4, 6, 8, and that would be 6, 8 for the column. Now you can never have the 8 in the middle of the line because there is no 9 on the edges, so this can never be 8, so that's a 4, and this 2, 4 is resolved, that's 4, that's 2, and that's 2, that's 3, that's 3 now, it's 1, 5, right, and okay, 5 is here, which means this is a 1, that is a 5, and that 1, 2 is resolved. That gives me a 2 here, which resolves this 2, 5 here, which resolves this 5, 7 here. This is a 4, 7 pair, which means that this is a 7, this is a 4. And now we know that this cannot be the arrow circle. So this would have to be the circle. And that finishes off this Sudoku rather cutely. A really cute deduction towards the end. Beautiful Sudoku by Sed Holaysan. It was a really fun and enjoyable Sudoku, and it helped me to explain what are the smaller and simpler things that you need to look out for while solving this Sudoku. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Please do like the video, comment under the video, because otherwise the video gets lost in the internet. If you guys want to help us, please subscribe to, and make sure that the YouTube algorithm recommends this video. Please give a like. Thank you. Bye bye.